Hi guys, your friendly neighbourhood random hooker here. Thought I'd do another video and I thought I would show you a couple of the things that I've made that are non-clothing related. So one is a lovely pattern that is really quite popular. It's by a lovely lady named Crochet by Jenna, and I will link her in the description below. And it is this lovely turtle. So I've made some of these for a set of 3 for my nephew for his birthday, and then I made one for myself because it's really quite glorious, and it's lovely. With this one I've added an extra wool. This one, it actually glows in the dark and it works really well. I picked, it's from the range. There are other brands, there are other places you can get it. I know Temu's got Skeins balls on there. They work really well, and it just adds that extra little something nice. So yeah, you can see his lovely little face. So I'm not too great at the putting stuff together, and when I apologised to the nephew and said sorry they're a bit wonky, he then proceeded to say, but I love them, and that means everything. I don't care what else happens, I don't care what criticism I get for being a bit rubbish on the adding stuff together. The nephew liked it, so that's all that matters. And to be quite fair, I am a fan of things being slightly wonky, only because for me it feels more homemade. But if you look at the beautiful ones that Crochet by Jenna made, they are absolutely beautiful and absolutely perfect. And she's really good. You can buy her patterns as well as her doing the YouTube videos. So the other thing I will show you is something that I came up with myself, and I love them. I've made a few at this point, or I've made a few at this point. I will put a picture down here somewhere of the other one that I made. So what I did with it, what I made was an emotional support potato gremlin. It's really quite fun. It's all nice and squishy. It's got the lovely eyes. I am a huge fan of these 3D eyes with the glitter on the back. They are great fun. I really enjoy them, and for me it finishes off the project really well. I like colour, like anything that's a bit different, anything that's different. So this one has the faux fur alpine wool, and on this one I've actually crocheted it into the pattern, and he's got a lovely tail as well. So with these, they all look relatively similar. So they've all got the sort of two-tone bodies, where it's got the sort of main body colour. It then has the band. It's then got a face with some lovely eyes and features. As you can see, the one that I made that I've popped down here, that one's got ears, and it's got still got hair, but it has ears rather than a tail. So one of the things that I quite enjoy with this is the creativity of it. I'm probably not the first person to just sort of make a design like this, but it's how I've designed it and how how I've chosen to sort of work with it. People seem to quite enjoy them, which I like. Again, I'm happy so long as the person I've made it for is happy. So with the potato gremlins, all I do with those is I basically crochet in the round. I'll usually start with about 6 6 stitches, and then I just increase and go in the round and sort of decide as I go sort of how big it's going to be, how big it's going to be, what the where the face is going to go and where the band's going to go and things like that. And again with this one that I'm making here, it's got the glow in the dark wool in it. So all I've done with this is when I started it, instead of starting with the 1 string, I just used 2. So when you do this, you don't have to, but you could. I tend to find it's easier to size up with the needle, with the hook, just because you've made it thicker by adding a second ball of yarn. Sometimes it does mean that you've got to play with it a little bit to find the hook size for the look you want, because it can vary. So if you want it, if you're happy for it to be a bit looser, go for the bigger needle. If you want it to be a bit tighter, then use a smaller needle. The only thing to watch with, if you're making any sort of plushie or amigurumi, or however you say amigurumi, is you don't want it to be too tight or too loose so that there's lots of gaps in it for the stuffing to come out. But what I did with this one is there are quite a few, because it's the first one I made, so there are quite a few sort of bigger holes in it. So all I did was I had an old pillow that I also used to stuff it, that I just used the casing for the old pillow, that I stuffed it and stuffed it and stuffed it till it fit into the potato gremlin, and then as I closed up the gremlin, I sort of filled it up as best I could and stitched that together. So that's how I solved that for me. You may wish to do that, and sort of not and sort of close it by close it with buttons or some sort of fastening, so that you can take the stuffing out separately to wash, rather than washing the whole thing, particularly if the stuffing needs a different wash than the yarn does. It's a good way to sort of protect the wool and the stuffing from different things. Like if you can, if you couldn't only hand wash the wool, but you want to give the stuffing a good go, or you can't tumble dry the stuffing but you can the wool, it gives you that bit of flexibility. But to be fair, when you're making stuff yourself, then you can just make it up as you go along, which is something that I absolutely love. You know, and I love the creativity of it. As I said, that's so far my lovely potato gremlin is the only thing that I've sort of made, sort of designed myself, other than sort of tweaking the hexy clothing that I've made and sort of tweaking that to what I want. And this lovely chap, again, I'll link the creator in the video. Go and have a look. She's actually quite fabulous, and is somebody that I go to quite regularly. The one thing I will say with the eyes, if you're doubling up with wool, is when you're putting them on, I will always go for the ones with sort of the safety eyes with the big sort of chunky plasticky backs on them. It can be quite difficult to get them to close if the wool's thicker, so that's something to always bear in mind. But yeah, so if there's anything else you'd like me to go through in this video, in the next video, or you'd like me to chat about, then yeah, drop a comment, drop a like, and please subscribe, please. I'd be very grateful if you could subscribe. Thank you. Bye.